Happy Tuesday, people. Hi, everyone. Hi, everybody. What's going on? What's going on? Can y'all see me okay and hear me okay? Hi, Mr. Maggi. How are you? Good evening, Tosi. Hello, Illinois. Miss Illinois. I'm going to just, because your username is a tongue twister. Oh, Lord. Mr. Maggi. I'm telling you, it's like, oh, Lord. When some clients become adopted children, and like, okay, you're stuck with them. What can you do, right? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So y'all, Whoa boy, my assistant gave me your message, and I think I sent you a request on my personal page. Thank you, and God bless you for providing us with this platform. Everyone, we have a new citizen in town. Whoa boy. I don't know if you guys remember, he was really, really scared and worried about how his interview will go. I remember Miss Illinois was like, hey, he's going to go, and we agreed in faith. And now he is a citizen. He's a citizen. She sent me your photo. I was like, oh my God. But if I sound tired, I am. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Like, an interview, Atlanta, on the road, coming back, meetings, mommy stuff. It's been a long. I'm surprised I'm not sleeping yet. But when you make a commitment to something else, like I really was almost not going to show up tonight, y'all, and I'm sure you would have understood. But I was like, you know what? Let's show up. So it's gonna be. I don't think we're gonna stay long. But congratulations, little boy. Um, Listen, there is nothing, absolutely nothing too difficult for God to do. Absolutely nothing that God cannot do, and you are a living testimony to that. So we rejoice with you. I'm sure. Listen, welcome to the other side, to the club. It is a great feeling being a naturalized citizen. Listen, there is. I don't even know how to describe it until you get there, and I pray that as many of us are still waiting on God for that crossing over, that God will do it just the way He has done for so many, and He will continue to. God doesn't fail. It's just that everybody's time is different, like I always say. And I pray that we will all have reasons to come and celebrate one another in Jesus' name. Hi, everyone. This is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. Got an immigration case. If it's a case that we handle, we do represent immigration clients in all 50 states. Once again, if I look tired, I am. So there's just no way around it. I am. So bear with me. If you need to contact our office, the number is 334-341-4475. Website is olalayalawfirm.com. Email contacts info at olalayalawfirm.com. Somebody also almost got scammed by fraudsters on TikTok. Once again, people, and he was smart enough, and he said, I heard you on one of your lives say, if I have doubts, call a 334 number, and he did. And God, thank God he did. I was like, I don't have anything. I don't use PayPal to receive money from my business. Anything we do is either Stripe or LawPay. You get a link. We don't ask you for information, nothing. If it doesn't say Olale Law Firm to what you're paying, please understand it's not me. So there's only so much I can complaints I can make. It is what it is. So, but just be careful out there, people. Some of we work hard to protect your name, and I do work hard, but sometimes people want to take advantage of that, and unfortunately they keep creating different profiles, and there's only so much one can do. How many do you want to report? But anyway, welcome in. Let's talk immigration. If you need to contact us once again, 334-341-4475. Not sure I'm going to get questions tonight. I will try to take as many as I can, but we'll see how the night goes. But let's talk about is VAR right for me? That's our topic for tonight. Please share this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Olale Immigration. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at Olale Immigration. Um, we will be glad if you do. Information that is shared each Tuesday and Thursday night and every day of the week, I think is really, really informative for a lot of people. And sometimes people get information that may not necessarily need them to have an attorney, and to each their own, but it's helpful. I know it is helpful. But anyway, let's talk immigration. Is VAR right for you? That's the topic for tonight. How do you know if VAR is the right option for you in your immigration process? So, unless you have been living under a rock, then you don't know what VAR is. But the truth of the matter is, there are a lot of people who actually have no clue what VAR is about. And that is the truth. A lot of people don't even know they have that option when it comes to the family-based petitions. So VAR is a family-based immigration benefit. The difference between that and a regular marriage-based case is, rather than have your spouse, the citizen or green card holder that you get married to, rather than them having to file the petition on the underlying petition for your green card on your behalf, you filed the underlying petition for your green card. That's what VAR allows you to do. What is the basis of that? The basis eligibility ground for that is that you have been a victim of abuse. A lot of people always think, so is VAR right for me? Let's start with the form of abuse. People think that if I haven't been physically abused, then I cannot file for VAR. Incorrect. I get that question so many times. Like, okay, sister lawyer, go for now. Go bamileti, so can mo ni evidence mo obumi o shekini ko down Jemino, but I didn't take photographs and all that. How do I prove that? That's where your declaration comes into play. A lot of people are not going to have physical abuse evidence. A lot of people are not going to have recordings. A lot of people are not going to have injury photographs. A lot of people are not going to have police reports, because a lot of immigrants who do not have papers do not even want to deal with law enforcement, let alone now reporting someone who is a citizen who has already told them that they would always be believed compared to someone who was an immigrant. So do not be mistaken that the only thing you need in the VAR case, or the only kind of evidence to prove a VAR case, is physical abuse. No. Emotional abuse, financial control, humiliation, refusal to go to your interview, immigration status, threat, what else? Psychological abuse, sexual abuse. Even if you're married to somebody, please understand that you can be sexually abused by your spouse. No is a complete sentence. The fact that you're married to somebody doesn't mean that you own their body. It, depending on the country you're from, but in the United States, you don't. And so there's so many kinds of abuse that will make you eligible for VAR. So if you're thinking VAR is not a right option for me because I don't have proof of physical abuse, you're mistaken. That is incorrect. Extreme cruelty or physical abuse, that is what is required for a VAR case. Is VAR a right option for me? How would you know if it's a right option? Let's move on to you being able to show that you have proof of what it takes. Now, you've got the abuse. Like I said, physical abuse is not the only kind of abuse. You've got emotional abuse, verbal abuse, control. Control is a huge example, or manipulation. Example: someone promises, you're dating, and they say, yeah, we're going to have 200 kids. I'm fine. We're going to have a large family, and you're a guy who's never had kids, and you're really excited. You get married to this lady, only for you to find out that she's done hysterectomy, or she's on birth control. That is manipulation. That is deception. That is you being mentally abused. There are a lot of things that fall within extreme cruelty, but you would not know unless you sit down with a lawyer to discuss your case and know if you are eligible, or what you've gone through makes you eligible for that. Okay. Now, you have to live together. Trying to figure out if VAR is the right option for you. You've got to live together. The good thing about living together is this: USCIS will also consider the time that you live with the abuser prior to you getting married. So whatever time you were dating the person will qualify as shared residence as well. So that means that if you're dating and you live together for like 6 weeks or 3 months, and then you get married and you're together for like what, maybe for a month, the month you live together subsequent to marriage is not the only time that USCIS has to consider for shared residency. They have to consider the 4 months that you live together before you guys got married while you were dating to satisfy the shared residency requirement. So, did you do you have do you have evidence of good faith? What is the evidence that your marriage is real? So the same evidence you would need in a regular marriage case, that's the same evidence you would need in a VAWA case to prove that the marriage is real. Is what has been the effect of the abuse on you? That's another way to know if VAWA is an option for you. Is your spouse consistently and constantly using your immigration status to taunt you, to use that to control you, to get you to give them money? If you don't give me this amount, then I'm not going to attend your interview. If you don't give me this amount, I'm going to call ICE and tell them this is a sham marriage. If you don't give me this amount, I'm going to, walk out of this marriage. I'm going to file divorce. That is all mind games. That is something that will make you know that VAWA is an option for you. Okay, let's talk about what the effect of filing the VAWA is on the abuser. That's one question I get a lot of. Like, okay, sis lawyer, law enforcement affect. No, it's not going to affect the person, the abuser's work. Why? Because VAWA is a confidential process. USCIS cannot, once again, hear me loud and clear. USCIS cannot use information you provide to prove your case against the abuser. They cannot. They're prohibited from doing that. Because think about it this way. If USCIS could do that, what is the point of making it a confidential case? In the same way that if you pick up the phone and call USCIS and say, hey, I need to find out, what's going on in my VAWA case, when to expect a decision, yada, 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 you will not get any information over the phone because it is a confidential process. The agents you call at the toll-free number do not have access to your VAWA case because that is the law. So whatever information you provide to USCIS regarding your abuser cannot be used against them. They're not going to lose their job. No one is going to arrest them because they abused you, unless they do something on their own to get themselves in trouble. Now that's different. That's got nothing to do with you and the information from your case. But if that is a concern of yours, which a lot of people are concerned about, and rightfully so, it is not something that's going to affect the abuser in any way. Okay. Another factor in considering whether or not VAWA is an option for you is if you have already filed a regular case, meaning a regular marriage case, that case was denied, or you have an abuser who is refusing to attend an interview with you. You found yourself constantly rescheduling your interview date and you've tried to come up with excuses to USCIS. I was sick, Lenny, you doing and it's a constant, excuse for the spouse because they're threatening to sabotage the interview. They're threatening that if you don't give them this amount, then they won't attend the interview. Then please understand it's time for you to sit down with a lawyer to consult with them and see if it's an option. Because if the person's already threatening to do that when you're attending the interview and you've seen yourself have to reschedule several times, and there's only the limit to when USCIS will reschedule, then that means that person more likely than not is going to sabotage your interview. And that's the last thing you want to happen, to have someone who is intentionally going to make you look bad, like someone who entered the marriage fraudulently. The last thing you want to do is to sit down with them for USCIS to answer questions when you already know what's going to happen. That's when you know it's time to consider VAWA. Okay. If your case gets denied, let's assume the case gets denied, and you have the question, and your abuser keeps saying, or your spouse, that was the reason why it got denied, says, hey, we can refile, that's fine, they apologize to you. is there any hope for reconciliation? Not about the marriage just by itself. When you reconcile and you refile, what is the prospect of that? What is that looking like for you based on what they had done in the previous filing? Do you have any reason to think that the outcome will be different this time around if you refile with the same spouse? If you do not believe that they have changed, or if their behavior becomes even worse than it was before, it is time for you to consider speaking with a lawyer to see if you are eligible and if that is right and is the right option for you. Now, let's see what else we got right here. Okay, so a big thing is a lot of I can't even tell you how many times I get to talk to people, and it's a case of lawyer. Oh my baby, but it's láti attend the interview. The morning of the interview, he or she would not even show. The morning of the interview, they said I have to give them $5,000. This was not a sham marriage, but they said that's the only way they can, they would attend the interview with me. If you're going through that for any reason, and you've found yourself, for instance, you've had to deal with that, and now you're requesting for USCIS to reschedule an interview because you made up a story that your spouse was sick, you made up a story they were stuck in traffic, please understand that it is time for you to know that VAR may be the right option for you. And if you have a pending I-485, you still can file for VAR. You can convert from your regular marriage case, ask USCIS to hold off adjudicating the 485 based on an I-130, and ask them to hold it. And because you are in the process of switching over to a VAR case, file your VAR petition and ask them to transfer the underlying basis of your I-485 from an I-130 to an I-360, because you do not want to take chances. If you hear nothing else, hear me loud and clear. When you're dealing with someone who is narcissistic, right? People who they know what they're doing. Do you understand that there are some types of abuse that are actually 10 times worse than physical abuse? Mind game is real. There are some spouses that will make you think you're crazy, because that is just how manipulation works. But a lot of people have had to deal with having USCIS make a conclusion of sham marriage solely because of the actions of their abusive spouse. There is no reason why you should wait until somebody makes you get to the point where USCIS says, you know what, based on the inconsistencies at your interview, your spouse says, they met you at this place, but they denied that. There's sometimes someone is just out to get you. If you have someone who has, who actually tried to sabotage your immigration case during an interview, you get a notice of intent to deny. Please understand, more likely than not, USCIS will deny that case. Before you respond to that, or before you risk USCIS making a conclusion that you entered into a fraudulent marriage, it's time for you to say, is that a right option for me? Because then you take charge of your case and avoid having a 204C bar. A 204C bar basically basically means that if once USCIS concludes that you entered into a sham marriage, it doesn't matter how many kids. You can have 200,000 kids with the next person you get married to, and have 200,000 houses with them. Good faith till Jesus comes back. You're not getting the green card. Why? Because of a previous case that where USCIS concluded that you entered into a fraudulent marriage. A 204C carries with you forever until and unless you're able to rebut that allegation, which the chances of doing that are highly, highly slim. So before it gets to that point, that's when you want to start considering whether or not VAR is an option for you, so you can take control of your narrative and prevent somebody else from getting you stuck in this immigration debacle. And when you have the option of taking charge and just leaving the rest in God's hand. So is VAR a right option for you? Please understand, if you've seen all those red flags If you know that you've been, the victim of abuse, if you know you have a first kiss, and luckily there was no allegation of sham marriage, but the person sabotaged your case, that refiling is not feasible, or you have had to reschedule your interview so many times because the spouse just will not show up. If you know your bank account is completely depleted all the time because this person just wants to ruin you. If you're with someone who told you they have one kid, and then you find out through child support cases being served on you that they have 10 kids, please understand it is time for you to start thinking whether or not VA is right for you. Don't wait until you get a denial and risk USCI's alleged fraudulent marriage before you take action. If that's what I say that all the time. You shouldn't wait and spend years with somebody who's got no plan for you. I mean, just saying. Like, I get passionate about this because I've seen so many. God knows I've seen it all. And it doesn't get easier. It just gets me infuriated because, like, earlier today, I had a consultation which, anyway, the person who represented them, they could have taken a hold of this case way earlier than before USC has made a decision of 204C. But guess what? The only way you can overcome a 204C allegation is to file something and fight it. But before it gets to that point, please know that when in doubt, consult with a lawyer, sit down and see if you are eligible to file a VAR case, so that it gives you your own peace of mind. Your peace of mind. Nothing compares to that. Peace of mind is non-negotiable. When you think of all the people that you have back home that you have to take care of, all, the journey for you to get to where you are, the last thing you should do, and it's not like it's easy for me to say, hey, pack up and leave. No, but you cannot sit still or, open your eyes or shine your eyes and let somebody else ruin, your journey so far. So when in doubt, consult with a lawyer, see if VA is the right option for you. And you will be able to, I ask you everything on the kitchen sink. Like, I am like, okay, we'll figure this. And if it's not an option, I understand my clients, it is not an option. But, if there's a reason why we cannot satisfy a particular ground or requirement, or if the evidence is just not strong enough, I'll let you know. If someone says, you know what, I understand, but I wouldn't take a stab at it, all well and good. But at least know whether or not that is an option for you, rather than suffer in silence. We've come too far from where we've come from, too far. And that's all sure, people. Okay, let me make sure I didn't leave anything out. Oh, let's see. Actually, let's denial, okay. Especially in cases where the actions of the spouse during an interview is the reason why your regular case was denied. It's time to just pump the brakes on refiling and figure out whether or not you filing a VAR case is going to be in your best interest. And that's all she wrote, people. Okay. Let me get to some questions, and we'll see. Hello, Nkem, how are you? Hold on 1 second, go back here. And put this back. Okay. Hello, Andrew. Andrew. Okay, there's no R there. VAR say card mailed to you. What type card it will be? 360, not 485. There's no. If it's your I-360, it depends on what the receipt number is saying. That's just a very broad question. VAR says card mailed to you. What card? What receipt number is it showing under? I'll put in for my green card 2021. When do you think it will get approved? I don't know. Can men be eligible for VAR all day, every day? Can men be eligible for VAR all day, every day? Yes, it says Violence Against Women Act. Great question. Please hear me loud and clear. Men are eligible for VAR. I actually have more male VAR clients than I have female VAR clients. Men are eligible for VAR. children are eligible for VA. It's not just women. So, how long does it take to prove a VA case? You mean for you to be approved? By USCI's present times, it has, I think, I haven't checked it in 2 days, but the last time I checked, it was 35 months. So give or take 30, 3 years for the VA petition itself. It could be less, it could be more, depending on your case, depending on if USCI is going to apply your priority date to your case. There's a whole lot of factors that's going, depending on if you have a ground or reason to ask them to expedite your case. After updated address, how long time to resend a notice to my address? That's another question I can answer. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I need your help. If you need to contact our office, our number is 334-341-4475. Call that number. You can also go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, to schedule your consultation. It's pretty straightforward, very simple. Or you can text us to the same number, and somebody will help you out. That much I can guarantee you. Somebody will give you the information you need to be able to set up a consultation. How can I do when I've been in the US for 7 years, son, but never got interview? If you have an option, if you have a basis to ask them to expedite your interview, then you can request that. It's a 50-50 chance at best. I always tell people, but if you have a strong basis for them to expedite your scheduling your interview, you can explore that. But you're not the only one waiting. There are a lot of people who are waiting for interviews to be scheduled. USCI has moved my VA case. Is it good or not? I'm not sure. Disclaimer: general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. If you need anything specific to your case, that's a proper consultation that needs to be had. But this is just general information. So no, we ain't doing that. So this is just general information. I'm not really sure what you mean by USCI has moved your VA case, but if what you're referring to is the we transferred your case through the Office of Having Jurisdiction, that is just basically it going from the Nebraska Service Center to the Vermont Service Center where VA cases are processed. US citizen, how long does it take to bring parents? USCIS.gov/person times. That would give you time frames. Thank you, Misha, for sharing. I appreciate that. I have my parents here on a 5-year visiting visa. Can they go back and forth while I put their papers? Let's be very clear, and I say this so often. The fact that someone has a 5-year or 10-year visa doesn't mean anything. The only thing it means is that they don't have to go back to the embassy to keep renewing the visa for that duration of time. What controls when your family member or if someone is visiting the United States and in the United States is the I-94, meaning the authorized period they're allowed to stay. It is not how long your visa is good for. A tourist visa can be good for 20 years for all I care. US CBP decides how long the person is allowed to stay. For the most part, most people are given 6 months. So if you put in petitions for your parents, there is nothing that guarantees their entry, especially when CBP sees, because you filing a petition for parents is creating an immigrant intent, because that's what it is. An I-130 creates an immigrant intent. Basically, that person, that is the basis for you wanting that person to immigrate to the United States. Now, if they're older, older in age senior citizens, for the most part, they don't stress them. If your parents, you're in your 50s or thereabout, they're still considered young. So it just depends. But discretion now would lie with CBP. If your parents have shown a pattern of living coming in and leaving before the expiration of their authorized stay without any issues, then for the most of the time, that shouldn't be a problem. But it's still very discretionary. Can I travel out of the country with stamp in my passport I-551 because I-751 is pending? Generally, yes. Say general no because you ain't and need to no, it's general. Does USCI send RFE? I forgot to submit I-864 for my adjusted application. If you have submitted and you have received your notices, then they will send you an RFE. If you haven't received your notices, then they two options. They may still send you notices and then send you an RFE for the 864, or they'll reject your package completely, telling you that your 864 is missing. Most likely, it will be the other option, which is accepted and then send you an RFE. Hello, Ghanaian wife. How are you? Thank you, creating creative. 8 months since green card marriage interview, no answer. You can write them, send them a demand letter, do an ombudsman inquiry, congressional assistance request. Those are options that you have. Speak slowly, please. I'm sorry. What you say makes sense, and I want to know. I'm sorry. I talk pretty fast, and then I leave it out. So it's a combination of all kinds of. So, what do you want to know? The one thing I would say is I'm not sure how it works on TikTok, but if you need to see this video again, you can go on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. It will be up there on any of those platforms. What is the difference with when you're married to a green card holder as opposed to a citizen? Good question. So the first thing is that the status of the abuser will determine whether or not you can file your green card application. If you're married to a citizen, then there is no immigrant visa number you're waiting on. You can file your green card application concurrently with the VAWA petition. If you're married to a green card holder, on the other hand, you have to make sure that the priority date is current for F2A. I want to believe that's a category. In order for you to adjust your status, meaning file the green card application at the same time. Another difference is if you once the VAWA is approved and the your spouse is not a citizen, then in order for you to become a citizen, you will have to wait 5 years. As compared to someone whose abuser is a citizen, they can apply for citizenship after 3 years, whether or not you're still living with a spouse. What else is let's see. I think those are the two main differences as far as the status of your abuser that I can think of right now. I married a citizen in 2016. I got my permanent conditional residency card and conditional residency card. Divorced in 2019. I-751 is pending. What is my status? You are still considered a legal permanent resident until USCI's and or a judge says otherwise. How can I prove to USCI's that my son's adoption is bona fide and not for immigration benefits? Sit down with a lawyer to discuss your case. Let's see. My husband and his visa interview currently pending inquiry due to omission of prior travel history. Canada denied his visa because of the omission. You have to understand that the issuance of a visa is completely discretionary with US government. There's nothing that says they have to grant you a visa, even if you're married to a citizen. It's just discretionary. That's what the law is. But if they think that something was intentional or omission or misrepresentation, then they have the discretion to deny or to request a waiver. I cannot speak to your case because I don't know. There's a whole lot more that's going to be beyond just omission of travel history. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's go here. Congratulations once again, Woo Woo Boy. Hello, Jim Crate. How are you? Hello, Mr. Steven. How are you? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Um, let's see. God is indeed faithful, I tell you. Miss Illinois, remember we were telling him like, "Hey, it's going to be okay." But see, the one thing I love is, and I'm glad Little Boy is back to share his testimony because I hope that that's one of the things that you took away from here because he would come and I remember seeing him a whole lot. And I think just being able to get the encouragement from other people saying everything will work out fine, don't worry, we're praying with you, praying for you. Sometimes you just don't know how much good that does for people and how much it actually gives them the courage, additional courage they need to believe and know that everything is going to work out fine. And that's what the space is for me. And I hope it's the same for everyone else to be able to create that safe space where we come together and actually are positive and praying. And that's if you're going to bring some trolling behavior here, you're going to be blocked. That's just what it is. When he do it, I can't wait for this next step for us when it's time. Amen. Amen. Okay. Okay, I missed the beginning of that question. Let's see. My wife came here under the HHP program. Okay. She was scheduled for humanitarian parole for, and then she came here under the Haitian. Is she eligible for a readjust? Sit down with a lawyer to discuss your case. Hi, Ms. Abena. How are you? Mr. Majid, I mean, the ball is in your court. I've already given you the options. That's what I think. You already know that that's going to be the issue. So when you know, but there's just nothing that says they have to ask you or send your an RFE. But I don't discuss clients' cases right here openly. So that's all I'm going to say. Hello, Mr. Ebenezer. How are you doing? Yeah, if you're just joining us, what we talked about tonight is Vawa Right For Me. Is Vawa Right For You? So this video will be up. So you can replay it if you need to, and then you would hear what helps. Hello, Miss Olani. How are you? It's good to see you here, sir. I was tired of this, what I'm telling you. Hello, Mr. Kelvin. I am Samuel. I'm doing well. Thank you. Hmm. Gotta show up. Yes, please follow, subscribe, like, and all social media platforms YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Olale Immigration. Ah, you. Hello, Epic Movement. What's going on? Hello, Miss Peggy. My wife demanded I buy her a 2024 car. Shorty, she 2024 car. They start releasing 2024 cars. Let's see. I didn't even know, but That's what I'm talking about. Those demands. One God underscore six. I am doing well. How about yourself? You haven't seen me coming live. I've been coming. I think you just haven't been on the live. That's the difference. We've been here Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's see. Big Movement says she does ask you all the questions and she's thorough. Thank you. It helps to know exactly because if we were like, okay, what is all these questions? How am I supposed to know if I can help you if I don't ask you questions? Sometimes I ask uncomfortable questions, but it's so I can help you. Just have to bear with me. Yes. Yes. Please listen loud and clear to Epic Movement. Says also men can be abused as well. A lot of men are abused. They just don't want to admit it because we are from cultures like in the Caribbeans, in Africa. We don't talk about men don't talk. It's like an ego thing. Not kind of men say he's been abused, but unfortunately it happens. And if you don't talk about it, how would people know? How would you know what help you have? You've got to speak up, right? Okay. Yep. This is all just general information. Nothing specific to anybody's case. Thank you, Ms. Amina. Let's see. At what point after filing a VOD can one close joint bank account with your abuser? Also, is it okay to take him off as a beneficiary? Absolutely. There's nothing that says no. Just like if you get divorced right after. I always say if you don't have to get divorced, you can hold on. And it's simply because if you need to refile for whatever reason, now you can file a VOD case even after a divorce as long as the divorce hasn't been more than 2 years. But if you don't have to divorce, just hold on because you just never know. Hopefully you don't need it. But yeah. Sisi Yemi, Miss Peggy. I told you the last time. My name is not Yemi. Apisola Olale. There's no Yemi in my name. But thank you. What happens when you transfer your I-130 and I-45 to VAB, but now your I-45 is at the field office, is not supposed to go to Vermont? They don't transfer your I-130. Your I-130 is your former spouse's or your abuser's petition. The I-45 is not transferred. You're holding it in abeyance. So the field, if it's at the field office, they don't send it to Vermont. You just let them know that it's the underlying basis is not the I-130, it is the I-360, and based on that they should pause adjudication on it. That's basically what you're doing. They're pausing the adjudication of the 45. It's almost like it's not an administrative closure, but it's just an abeyance. But it allows you to keep working, filing your work authorization as well as your advance parole. It's just that it's not being adjudicated because it's waiting for the VAD case to be approved, and then they continue adjudication of the 485. So it does not sent to the VAD office. What is the approval rate for filing a waiver due to misrepresentation or fraud? Based on what? Approval rate according to who? But before you even file a waiver fraud and misrepresentation, I usually like to fight whatever it is they're claiming to be fraud and misrepresentation, claiming that it's not. But it still depends on what it is. There's some clear cut, like, okay, yeah, you ain't gonna fight this one. But some things don't really necessarily rise to the level of misrepresentation, and that would warrant a 601 to be filed. Beautiful hair color, man. Thank you. It's what grows out on my scalp. It's not color, it's my Mr. Bennett, remember what we boy, right? God is indeed faithful. Congratulations to him. I'm a citizen and I want to bring my girlfriend in Nigeria. How long does it take? Are you bringing her as a fiance? Are you bringing her? Are you going to get married and then file a spousal visa? Either way, fiance petitions or fiance process takes much shorter on the embassy side compared to the spousal visa, but you're not looking at anything based on the current time frame. You're not looking at anything less than 18 months. No worries, Epic. I know you're working. Can I reschedule same day as my appointment if spouse refuses to go? You may not be able to reschedule given the short time frame. What I always recommend in that situation is find a way to get a lawyer to go with you. If your lawyer doesn't go with you, go. You have to attend. You've got to get to the field office and explain to them that, hey, there's been some issues in my marriage. I'm going to be needing to file a vow petition. Please don't deny my 45. I will file it because once you make that request, you've got 30 days from the day you make the request to file the vow petition. I've got to file. I'll file the vow petition in 30 days. Please don't deny my case. And once you file the vow petition within the 30-day period, you have to send them proof that you have. But if you have to do a same day rescheduling, you have to go. You cannot possibly get them on the phone on the same day, and it takes a while to reschedule. So the best option you have is to go in person. The best option is probably to just tell them you're filing for VA. If you're going to be saying you're rescheduling, you must have a valid reason why your spouse is not there for them to reschedule you on the same day. 2024 car, the audacity! I'm telling you, I didn't even know they started making 2024 car. You're welcome, Miss Amina. This is the reason. I don't know, maybe mistaking is mixing me up with somebody else. I'm not a chef. I wish I was. I really wish I was. Do I know how to cook? Yes. Do I like to cook? No, I don't. So anyone who's saying like, she's not single, maybe she needs a husband. If you know how to cook, that's fine. If you're thinking I'll cook for you, that's not happening. Don't even have the time. I only cook for my kids because so family services won't come for me. And I don't like fast food. Or I don't like to feed them fast food. Other than that, if I could get a chef to if I could hire a chef, that would be one of the things I want to do for myself. I just don't know if they can keep up with TJ because that kid eats. Hello, Mr. Victor Maye. How are you? Babe born cruising to 2024 problem. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. This lady's on. Hello, Cecilia. God bless you for all you do. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for joining. You're doing a very good job, and your hair always dazzling. Your unique signature. Thank you, Glow. I appreciate that. I am tired tonight, people. I'm sure it shows on my face. I'm tired, but I said I'm showing up. I'm showing up. I've made a commitment. I got to show up. I got to show up, and especially after my consultation, because yeah, I came back and I had to. You know how people say, "You know, a jaw, squeezing like." Lydia was like, "Oh, she can't do. You're going to run yourself into the ground." And I had to back to the school, get my kid. But I count it all joy. God, I thank God for strength to be able to do that. But what after that? Hello, Miss Shohini. I sent you an email. The conversation with the lady and how she ended up with the 204C based on the abusive spouse's behavior. I said, you know what? Let's if this message tonight just helps somebody to avoid being stuck in that and take control and get your vow filed before you get they get you in trouble, the best thing. How much to schedule appointment with you? 30 minutes is 130, 45 minutes is 200, and then 1 hour is 230. I love Lick Finger. I'm telling you, Lick Finger is if I could hire Lick Finger, like just bring her. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. You know what? Lick Finger, where's she at? I think that's what I'm probably going to bring her down to my house. Miss Eleanor, she just gave me an idea. I think I'm going to bring her to my house and have her make me like a whole month. But then again, I have to go get a deep freezer for that kind of craziness. Got an idea. Okay. Lick finger, where you at? Let me contact her. But anyway, yes. So if you need to contact us for, thank you, Miss Illinois. 334-341-4475. Info at olalayalawfirm.com. Thank you. What if I don't have enough bona fide evidence for VAWA due to restrictions from my spouse? We include that in the affidavit. It is actually part of the Immigration and Nationality Act that the officers are aware that because of the abuse, there will be secondary evidence, affidavits, witness affidavits, if you've got recordings, if you've got, whatever it is, the declaration, you'll be amazed what your declaration, very detailed date specific declaration can do in a VAWA case. Don't undermine it. I'm telling you. And don't doubt yourself. You would not know if you have enough evidence if you do not consult with a lawyer to discuss the evidence that you already have, or evidence that you may not even think is evidence that will actually be evidence to help your case. Okay. All right, let's read. Okay. All righty. So that's all we can do for tonight. Without running myself in the ground. Oh, by the way, we are starting to get approvals for 5-year 5-year work permits, not green card, 5-year work permits. And somebody had asked, and I wasn't sure because we're just riding of this whole thing together to see what's going to happen. Someone that asked me also that how does it mean the advanced parole if they're still going to issue combo cards. And the first one we got today, well, they showed me because I wasn't in the office, but they showed me what we got. I was like, if you're getting it, I need to see it. The first one we got today is a 5-year work permit as well as a 5-year advanced parole. So we are expecting, we don't have the card yet, but we're expecting because it has the same validity period. We're expecting to see, great to see you as well. We're expecting to see that it would be a combination card. So they're coming in. Good evening. I have a pending VAWA case and also an approved I-140 national interest waiver. Can I just using the new approved national interest waiver? You can transfer the underlying basis of your I-485. However, you still must be eligible to adjust status based on that underlying basis. So what do I mean by that? Generally, for employment cases, in order to adjust status, file your green card, you must be in valid non-immigrant status. If you're not in a valid non-immigrant status, then you cannot have been out of status for more than 180 days. So the fact that you have a pending 485 with a VAWA case is related to family-based, especially for a VAWA case, even if you're married to a green card holder, overstay is exempted. You're not going to be denied a green card because you overstay when it comes to a VAWA case, even for people married to green card holders. It's not the same with employment-based. Employment-based, you must maintain that status or show that you haven't been out of status for more than 180 days. So in order to adjust status under the approved national interest waiver, then you must still be eligible as if you're filing adjustment status on the national interest waiver. I hope that makes sense. It can get tricky, but that's the best way I can explain that. But anyway, okay. Thursday, I probably will do questions. But for tonight, this lady's got to go. But obviously, I would not leave without a word of encouragement that there's nothing we can do that's going to make God tired of us. There's absolutely nothing we can ever do that will make God get tired of us. He created us. He has created us for, and we're destined for signs and wonders. So until people can see those manifestation in our lives, you know, I'm someone who is very intentional about it took me a while to get there, but I'm very intentional about making sure I'm surrounded by people who are positive and have positive mindset. Doesn't mean you're not going to have negative thoughts running through your mind. It is just the normal human nature. The question is, do you allow it to take over? And the answer to that is you should not. There's a lot of things that can derail us from our destiny, but there is just no way God is going to allow us to fail until those signs and wonders become manifested in our lives. Then He's not done with us. I have a very unique, I won't say very, but I have a unique car tag on my car. And it's always, whenever I see it, it's a constant reminder what I have chosen to speak to my life, and what I have chosen that I represent as God's own. And so we have to remember that as God's own, there's no how He would let us fail. We are destined for signs and wonders. So until that becomes our reality, He's not going to give up on us. So as long as God doesn't give up on us, please let's keep going. Wobo Boy, we celebrate you. Your story is very inspirational. But we remember when he was also scared, and this platform we came together and we said he will be fine. And we thank God he's back to give his testimony. And I pray that just the way he came back, that God will make many of us come back together to give testimonies about what God has done in our lives. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for staying with me. You can tell I'm always